Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here with Remy Piazza, who's the Chief Sales Officer for Bureau Veritas. Now, what's Bureau Veritas? We're going to talk a little bit about that, but it relates to what's going on today with COVID, coronavirus, and it's really an organization that is advising and consulting different travel companies, hotels, resorts about how to stop the spread of coronavirus and how to come up with protocols that can help do that exactly. And we're going to find out about that and more on Insider Travel Report. Now, Remy, first of all, how are you? Where are you?
I'm doing well, James. I'm in New York, which, of course, used to be the epicenter of the problem. Now seems to be the safe spot in the country. So just outside of New York.
Yeah, well, I'm just above you up in Yonkers, so it's and I was down in Florida for a while, and that was the epicenter. Now that is become the epicenter. So we seem to be safe for now in New York. Now tell us a little bit about Bureau Veritas, when it started, and what it offers really in terms of services.
Yeah, happy to. So Bureau Veritas is it's a 200-year-old company. We're headquartered out of New York here in the United States and Paris globally. And our mission has always been to shape a world of trust. And actually, when you look at our name, Veritas means truth. Right. So Bureau of Truth. And
I remember that from my Latin days. So yes.
That's right. By extension, it's really about integrity and trust, and that's and building integrity and trust, and has been in our DNA for over 200 years through the testing, inspection, and certification business. And we do that for a whole host of different industries, everything from oil and gas, consumer products, to offshore oil rigs as well.
Now, in terms of your clients in the hospitality field and travel, what are some of the clients you do have today?
Yeah, so some of the more innovative clients in hospitality are the Sands Hotel, who owns the Venetian, as you know, the Preferred Hotels and Resorts.
Does them very well.
Accor as well, Relais and Chateau. So we have actually quite a few hospitality clients, and they were the ones that adopted this early, and we're taking steps to make sure that their customers and their employees were being brought into an environment that they felt safe and with the utmost, the highest standards of hygiene and safety. And I'm proud to say we have done that with these companies, and through our Restart Your Business offering, we've helped them develop protocols, science-backed protocols, and I think what's key to that too is not just developing the protocols, but ensuring that there's third-party auditing to make sure that the companies, the employees, and even the clients in some cases are following those protocols to ensure the safest environment possible.
Now, when the COVID-19 crisis really hit hard at the beginning of this year, February, I'm losing track of time right now. I got to tell you, it feels like about 8 years, but that's another story. How did you have to kind of retool your services to meet the needs to counter this virus to help these clients? What did you have to offer in addition to what you might have offered in the past?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, at the start of the crisis, we heard about some businesses losing 80, 90% of their total revenue. And so our customers really started to turn to us for support in terms of helping them navigate the crisis. And so we really felt a weight, if you will, of responsibility to help those customers restart operations as quickly and safely as possible. And so we in a relatively short amount of time, we developed a global task force, and we developed a solution, if you will, to establish safety and hygiene best practices in our communities while helping to restart our operations ourselves. And so we felt it almost a social responsibility as a company, being in the testing, inspection, and certification industry. And of course, with our DNA being in safety, we felt a sense of responsibility. So this offering was relatively new. but the service itself was certainly in our DNA as an expert in quality, health, and safety.
Now, obviously, it appears you probably have gotten more clients since the virus hit, I would think. And it sounds like a lot of hotel and hospitality. Have you done anything beyond the hotel side? Have you been asked to do stuff for cruise lines, for example, or tour operators?
We have. We are working with a few cruise line companies right now. We're talking to some folks that we're still in discussions with some of them. So I can't mention them by name, but they're definitely some of the larger cruise line operators. Hospitality is a big one. We've also started working with other sectors outside of travel too, right. Including the education sector.
Now all the news, because as the kids might start going back to school and. And you living in New York, I think New York is one of the few that already has made the decision to the kids are going back to school right for now.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how do you manage that? How do you ensure the safety and hygiene in that environment? But we've hospitality tended to be, we're starting to work in the restaurant sector as well with some of the larger chains. And we're also working with some of the big stadiums and some of the parks as well now, as they're starting to figure out, hey, as people travel and want to participate in these events, how do we provide those folks with the safest environment as possible to restart their businesses as well.
You're talking about all the things we missed, dining out, going to stadiums for sports, and going to parks to hang out. So this is, it's all the things in New York. You can go to outdoor dining now, and you can watch sports, but there's nobody in Yankee Stadium right now. They just have the games. So it's a large part of our society that we're missing at this point.
That's right.
Now, what in terms of the programs, the protocols that you talked about, what do you recommend, or sort of in general, for the health and safety today in what I guess we're calling the new normal for travel?
Yeah, so I think it's important to note that first of all, travelers have the power to ask the hard questions and look for hotels and airlines and other transportation hubs, and really ask them, what they've done to provide people with a safe environment as possible. In addition to, I think, the responsibility that we all have just as individuals, responsible individuals, to practice, mindful safety habits and good hygiene. So I think, as part of the program, we really help customers answer some vital questions like, do we have the right team assembled to manage our overall hygiene plan at our business? Are we communicating that effectively?
Right.
Do we have the tools and technologies in place to protect employees' physical and emotional health? Questions like, what are the workplace screening protocols, and how do we manage the PPE equipment? How is it, what's required? And then how can we ensure that all hygiene protocols will be followed by both employees and customers? So, at the end of the day, we really help customers develop protocols by answering those questions. And then I think the piece that we offer that we haven't seen a lot in the marketplace is the auditing piece,
right,
which is that third-party verification to say, yes, you have the right protocols in place. And check number two, yes, we're following them. And in some cases, we're doing mystery audits. So we're not telling the clients that we're showing up to their premises, or we're doing unannounced visits as well. So they might find out the morning of, hey, BV is coming to inspect or audit your premises against the protocols that we've developed.
Well, it all seems, everyone says it's sort of the similar protocols. I mean, obviously people say, masks both for staff and for guests, if the guests will do it. Then obviously social distancing, and you're seeing all these little indicators on the floor now that you can't go past a certain point. I just did that this morning in my supermarket. Although nobody follows the arrows. I'm sorry, they have the arrows going up and down, and there's always somebody coming the other way, and so I don't know what's all that about. But and then obviously cleaning, and everybody is touting a new cleaning fluid they have that's going to kill the virus 99%. I'm always wondering. I had another interview recently, and said, yes, our hotel chain has got a new product and it'll wipe it out. And then those kind of protocols everybody seems to have. And then I guess what you're saying is what you're doing is going and auditing and make sure they do all those things and they have the right, because, how do we know as guests or even as our audience, travel advisors, if it's really being followed? Everybody can put up a series of protocols and they look all nice, but if they're not doing what they say they're doing, it doesn't make any difference, right?
That's right. That's right. To me, it's akin to the law is there, but we need people like law enforcement officers, et cetera, to help enforce it, because we can't guarantee just because we have the law in place that people are actually following it. And so for us, protocols are very much the same, just in terms of taking that extra step to ensure that again, as a business, you're providing a safe environment for your employees and for your guests or your clients.
So if I'm going to book a hotel as a travel advisor and I see that Bureau Veritas is working with them and sort of the seal of approval, I can have confidence that this hotel has adopted protocols and that will work, will keep them safe, and are being followed.
Yeah, I think we. When we were faced with this crisis, this was obviously new. It's something that we've never dealt with before, unprecedented. You hear that all the time. So I think one of the first things we did was really evaluate our options in terms of how to create that program. I think one of the most important things that we did was actually meet with the Cleveland Clinic, who is our medical advisor, mm-hmm. And so they really bring the best of the Cleveland Clinic to the program for us. So it goes beyond CDC requirements, World Health Organizational clients. We've got a solid science-backed program that people going anywhere, whether they're traveling or whether they're going out to a restaurant down the street, they can feel good that the label being there, that they have a science-based protocol system in place that is being followed.
Now, in your view, and not that I'm asking you to be a forecaster of the future, but how do you think this crisis will play out? I mean, how can the travel industry emerge from this and really get back on track? Which we kept saying, we're going to keep pushing it down. It'll be next month, and next month, and then we keep seeing these surges of infection. Some countries, some continents like Europe and China seem to be handling it a bit better than us. Although I am recently hearing sort of new surges even in Europe, but they seem to be controlling it. But everyone asks me this question all the time: how are we going to emerge from this? How are we going to come back?
Yeah, it's a great question. We've learned a lot in dealing with with our clients and preparing them to successfully reopen. I think those experiences. I think we all want to return to what we'll call the simple pleasures of life. Mm-hmm. But the reality is that those experiences are going to be different. They are different, and they will continue to be different. I think that consumer trust is going to be a competitive differentiator, and I think it's always been a competitive differentiator. But I think that the degree to which it is a new competitive differentiator or advantage is going to be that much more today than it was before. So I think the companies that are doing their absolute best to provide trust, traceability and transparency through a program like ours is, I think they're going to come out on the other side of this with a lot more trust in their brand, and I think that they're going to be they're going to come out of this a lot stronger perhaps than they were before. But we firmly believe that consumer trust is going to be a competitive advantage moving forward more than it ever has been.
Well, consumer trust in brands has always been there, but obviously not to the level now that it's become because of all the situation with COVID-19. Now, obviously, you develop these protocols and programs, and you're providing them and your auditing services to your clients, but it is just one part, I guess, of helping the industry come back. I mean, are there other things that you're looking at, and if you're advising your clients? I mean, obviously you're not developing the vaccines, but I wish you were. But are you saying, we won't totally get rid of this until we get a vaccine? I've heard two different schools of thought on this. One is, yes, we have to just wait for the vaccine if it ever comes. The second one is we actually can eliminate or at least reduce the risk if we just follow these protocols. And that I heard one doctor on a call the other day said, if we just followed this, we'd get rid of it in 2 or 3 months, but nobody follows it. So that's the challenge. But what do you tell your clients about this?
Yes, I think it's a great question. I think first of all, it's important that we take a unified and a holistic approach to responding to the crisis, but backed by science. And I think that, of course, vaccines and other measures will continue to be very important. In the absence of a vaccine, we really want to see consistency, and we want to seek care from our favorite travel brands, right? So coming into a hotel, we've got to feel comfortable knowing that they've done everything possible to protect our health and well-being. And every detail is looked at, from high traffic areas and like the hotel lobby to the bathroom in our rooms, and even in their restaurants. And to me, this is, we hear the term new normal a lot. And it might be an overused term at this point, but it's still the new normal for us is the expectation that it's of the informed. There's more informed travelers now than ever, and rebuilding that trust and confidence mean companies have to follow consistent hygiene and standards and protocols. And I'm excited about the program that we've developed, because I think it does that and holds companies, people accountable for making sure. And we've seen the results of that, right? We've seen the results of some states that have developed. I personally think New York has done an exemplary job in helping limit the spread of the virus, and some other areas of the country were progressing and have receded, and so we've seen some varying results. But for us, it's really about providing consistency in terms of the protocols and following them.
Well, New York has done an exemplary job, although it didn't start out that way. Although actually Vermont is amazing. It's a green state in more ways than one. And as I said, I was down in Florida that looked okay and then isn't okay now because they all opened up too early. And everybody sort of got back to what they thought was regular normal instead of the new normal. And by the way, I have a friend that says we're not going to call it the new normal. We're just going to call it what's next. But in terms of the programs that you're introducing, and it sounds like these are programs that hotels and other hospitality organizations should be following anyway, even if we get past we are going to get past this, but when we get past this, because who knows what's next, as I said. Yeah. And so these programs are something that your clients are going to have to put in place for the long term, even after the virus is hopefully pretty much eclipsed in the next year or two. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, our CEO, Natalia Schumann, has a great thing that she says, and she says, safety is the new luxury. And I think I like that. I think it's true, because many consumers will demand the level of reassurance and third-party validation that the program like ours really does bring, and they're going to demand that before, I think, recommitting, if you will, to the business, or entering a business, or buying from a certain brand. And I think, again, as I mentioned earlier, I think the companies and the brands that go above and beyond to earn that customer trust will gain a competitive advantage during the crisis, and come out on the other side and with a stronger brand recognition, in these definitely heightened socially conscious times.
Yeah, well, we're actually talking during a week when a very large virtual conference is going on of luxury travel advisors with Virtuoso. which is one of the big luxury brands in the travel agency business. And I love your notation that safety is the new luxury, and I think probably somebody's figured that out. I'll have to bring that up to Matthew Upchurch, who's the CEO, because I think that's one of the things they're looking at, and it is put in one of the challenges that travel advisors have is there's all these programs that everybody's putting in, and to evaluate, they're not doctors and they're not in your profession, and it's very hard for them to figure out whether something has great protocols or not. They're looking at all this, and yet their clients demand or they want this verification from the people they're booking with, their trusted travel advisors. So that's the issue, and it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this interview with you, to give our travel advisor viewers a sense of what's going on in the market today, and what an organization like Bureau Veritas is doing, and why they should feel very secure in booking properties that you're working with.
Yeah, and we actually have a public-facing website too, that a user, it's almost like a TripAdvisor concept or an Expedia concept or a Yelp concept, where you can go on there and you can actually type in the name of maybe your favorite hotel or a restaurant, and you can find out if they've been certified by Bureau Veritas and actually have the label, and drill down into that data a little bit more. So it's interesting. For us, it's all about traceability and transparency, and that's a service that we're offering to our clients that go through the BV Restart program. Because I think you want to tell people, you want to tell consumers that you've done everything you can, and that you're partnering with a company like Bureau Veritas, who has a rich history in health and safety and hygiene, that you've partnered with us, and you're doing everything you can to try to provide a safe and hygienic environment for your clients.
Now, what is the URL for that website?
So the URL is, and let me, it is restartwithbureauveritas.com.
Okay, great, because I know a lot of travel advisors will want to take a look at that, and also refer that to their clients when they're hopefully starting to book travel now for the rest of the year, and obviously into 2021. Remy, any other words about Veritas, or anything else we should know?
I said in the beginning, we felt as a company a real sense of responsibility, maybe a calling, if you will, to help businesses and really society. And at BV, we are a business to society company, as we say, and that's been in our DNA since our inception. And now we do that globally. And for us, we feel a real sense of responsibility to help businesses and communities and society get back to some sense of normalcy, but obviously within the safest environment possible. And we are honored to serve the clients that we do, and we are even more honored to help society get back to some sense of normalcy, which I know we all want. So so I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, talk a little bit about the company and what we're doing. So thanks, James.
Well, thank you, and thank you for taking the time to do this. And we all hope we get back to the new normal. What's next? Or I'm happy with the old normal if we can get back there, I'm sure. But we'll see. I don't know if that's going to happen. But we all, in travel, this has really hit us hard, probably harder than almost any other industry, I think. And especially travel advisors and hospitality. Cruise lines have been devastated. We're all looking for that way back somehow, or a way forward that will make sure the business comes around again. Again, thank you so much for taking the time.
Great. Thank you.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.